Okay, looks like we have a good crowd. We get anywhere from around 5 to 10 people over the years, which is nice. We do these once a month. The dynamics of entheogens and consciousness. We'll be diving into many areas of topic and some questions as well, getting to know a little bit about yourself and see what path you're on, and curiosity, and hopefully we can accommodate. My name's Stephen. I'm one of the founders at Wolf Sanctuary. We started roughly 3 years ago. My work goes back about 20 years though, through the roots of New England. So with Wolf Sanctuary, we're grateful to be doing our craft in the world of shamanism, plant medicine, entheogens. There's a plethora of events that we do we can talk about later, but grateful to be in the Lake Harriet spiritual community building as well. And we're essentially like a church within a church. This building was built 1901. It's a historical landmark. So to be allowed here, and the board has confidence in the work, and it's been a great thing, very grateful. And while we do this, we build community little by little, and just help people who are curious and want to grow their lives, mind, body, and spirit with the medicines. So as you know, some of you may know or not know about what we do. We work with 3 different sacraments: ayahuasca, kambo, and the Philomedusa bicolor, which is a tree frog in the Amazon, near where the ayahuasca grows as well, and then the bufo, toad, and the 5-MeO molecule. And we'll get into each of those little by little and how they work and go from there. We usually start with ayahuasca and a little bit of how we work with that and my particular roots. And a lot of people ask, how did I get into this serving medicine? And it started 20 years ago, right around 2006 into 2007. And I previously was a firefighter EMT. That was my background. A lot of heavy schooling, the fire academy, and associates in fire science, and was always drawn to that work of service. And it stemmed from a death in the family. My sister had passed away when I was in junior high from a diabetic coma. So I was in tune with a lot of paramedics and EMTs coming to the house, especially in her later years when she was ill. So as a young kid, I saw the presence they held and the support they gave to my family. So I was always drawn to that. And that's what I did. So up through my early 20s, until a major life change happened where I did move down to Peru, Puerto Maldonado. And that was my first encounter with ayahuasca and some of my teachers that I can talk about soon. But what was the pivotal point that got me to work with ayahuasca? And that can relate to maybe some of your personal stories as well, and what I see in the community with working with hundreds and hundreds of people. Typically people are truth seekers, and typically they are looking to better their health, or they have trauma, or they're processing something in this life, and they are drawn to the medicine. Some people, it's the last stop for people. They've gone to a lot of different conventional therapies and different health modalities that served them for a while, but there was just something else that they felt like they needed to, get past. And they're drawn to the medicine work. Some people are doing okay. Some people are really grounded, and they're, I would say, mind, body, spirit, maybe no particular ailments, but they're still drawn to the world of medicine work because of the music, the ecros, the community. It makes them feel good. It helps with the digestion, helping with neurogenesis, the dopamine, serotonin. So you get a plethora of people who come to the medicine work. And we'll maybe find out a little bit about yourselves tonight if you're willing to share and go from there. But it all stemmed from my sister passing away, and through my early 20s in the firefighting community, great career, great people of service, but I partook in alcohol, and I don't think I quite processed the passing of my sister and what it did to my family. And I was very young, 14 years old, and we bypass. We compartmentalize. We don't always want to face the pain. But that caught up to me in my early 20s, and I knew that there had to be something that would work. And I tried a lot of different therapy and different modalities, but again, there was something that was missing. And I started to partake slowly with psilocybin and saw tremendous benefits just with that. And then a little salvia divinorum as well, which is another medicine through Mexico that has roots of shamanism as well. And just as a young man, 23, 24 years old, I said, there's something to this. There's more than what meets the eye. I noticed I wasn't drinking as much, didn't have any inclination to partake in the alcohol. My eating got better, to slow down on tobacco use. I just started to see changes, and then that led me to research online as a truth seeker, trying to find answers. How can I, in a world with so much confusion and some pain, is there something out there that can help? And I had read stories of, I was a music guy, so I love music. I heard stories of Tori Amos, Jim Morrison talking about shamanism, particularly peyote, Tori Amos with ayahuasca, Simon and Garfunkel, so Paul Simon, he had talked about it a bit. And as a musician aficionado, we're picking up little cues of there's something about the world of the shaman and these medicines. And with my experience with the psilocybin, I started to put two and two together, gather enough information where I felt that it was right to go move down to Puerto Maldonado, Peru, and work with a gentleman, Diego Palma, and his close ally, Antonio Fernandini. And they had a center called the Sacred Valley Tribe. And I said, this is it. I was called to it. And I said, that's it. I'm going to leave my job. I'm going to go down for a few months, try this ayahuasca. I believe in it. And I contacted their center, and they said, if you can take some time to yourself for a year and just don't come down confused. Do your best to put in the time. And we'll talk about that, what it means to put in time, your dieta process, your diet, your intentions before you sit with medicine. So I had a year to do that, which was great, and was completely sober and just doing as best as I could for myself, gearing up for the big move. And then when I got down there, it was a long trip, into South America, over the mountains, into Puerto Maldonado, into the jungle, tributaries of the Amazon River. And they had a strong Shipibo background, and they worked with various healers in the region as well, Diego and Antonio. And I immersed myself into the culture, and I was ready to go and see what this was all about. And the first thing they said to me when I landed at the airport, then at the second airport, and then the river ride down the river into a little village where they operated, Diego was sitting there, and he gave us kind of a stoic look, a stoic appearance, and said, everything that you have learned and read about ayahuasca, please leave at the river. All your expectations, leave it at the river. Come in glass half empty. And then he walked away. And his aides took the wheel. So that was the first encounter with my particular first teacher, Diego. And here we were at 25, 26 years old, right into the jungle and seeing what it could offer. And from there, I saw how important it was to be in the proper set and setting with medicine work, to be with highly trained individuals. The ayahuasca goes back, they say, 1,000 years, maybe more, but at least 1,000 years. And you look at how ayahuasca has been evolved to get where it is today, it's pretty fascinating. But at its roots, they say mapacho, the tobacco they use, which is used as a medicine down there as well, a little bit different than our tobacco in North America, nicotine rustica. And they had been smoking, and it led them to dive into their, I would say, curiosity to go pick these two different plant species in the jungle. One is the Banisteriopsis caapi vine. That's the vine that grows around the tree. That's one part of ayahuasca. And then the chacruna leaf. The chacruna leaf has the DMT, the dimethyltryptamine. If you were to drink or consume the chacruna leaf in a tea by itself, you wouldn't even feel the medicine. It needs the caapi vine as a precursor to use the DMT. So it's a myoinhibitor, a very strong medicine in itself, just the vine. So it's called the vine of souls. And they look at the statistically odds of picking two different plants in the jungle and to combine them and to boil them in exactly that amount of leaf and material and vine and to boil that. And it's pretty profound. They don't feel it's by chance, and that comes to what the shamans in my teachings is just the great intelligence of nature and how that can be fed into humans as we're nature as well. We're a part of nature. And to boil those plants and make ayahuasca. Intuitively, divinely led in a sense by the spirit of another plant, the mapacho, tobacco. So that's how ayahuasca was born. They feel that there was great spirits that inhabited these plants to help the human species with evolution. So, any questions so far, if anybody? We'll be going back and forth, asking questions. If you feel like you have a question, don't feel like you're interrupting me at all. It can feed the conversation. Yeah, I've worked with Diego, Antonio. I came back from Peru after a few months and respectively said to them, man, I don't know if I can put this down, but yet I can't afford to keep living down here and coming back. And respectively, I wanted to respect their tradition. And I said, am I crazy? Is not too insulting to say I feel like I want to keep working with this? And I get that a lot of people in the community. They come to me and say the same thing. So some people are maybe feeling the inclination to continue their trainings with it. Most people, 95% of the world, you should continue working with ayahuasca with a trained professional and sitting in ceremonies for a while. Don't be too antsy to go, work on people. It took me 7 years of training with the ayahuasca before I decided to feel that I could serve it to the public. So, but that was my question to them. And they had felt I did pretty well under the medicine for my age and holding space and my composure. And they helped me, took me under their wing a bit, and with brewing small amounts at my place in New Hampshire where I grew up, and training with being in contact with them a lot through video calls and email, and just continuing the training and working the medicine, keeping my diet clean, and continuing until I felt it was, with some more teachings along the way we can get into, started to serve the smaller groups in my 30s. And then here we are today. I'm 44 and work with a pretty large community in the Midwest. So, but back to ayahuasca and the effects. When you drink ayahuasca, the first time I drank, we're in preparation mode all day. We're fasting for about 6 hours. The food intake the days prior, no salt, no sugar, just fruit, steamed vegetables, salads. It's called the ayahuasca dieta, some other herbs that they used, plant allies that worked in conjunction with the ayahuasca. And they got our body primed. And acts of celibacy as well going into the ceremony, the good food, the mindfulness. The more you put in, the more you get out of it. So my early teachers, they were the professionals, and they were the curanderos, the ayahuasqueros. And we were prepped, and we walked out into the jungle that night and into a maloca. A maloca is a circular structure, like a temple. Very powerful structure that people do ayahuasca in Peru, in South America. Like a wooden structure, sacred geometry, a little bit of how they build it. And that's where we were introduced to ayahuasca, myself and several other participants from around the world that were there to come down and stay a bit and work. And from The minute we were called up to drink the serving, you drink about 10 to 20 milliliters, just a little bit in a cup. I could feel within 45 minutes that the medicine was working, and it felt extremely familiar to me. There was a undeniable feeling of, I know this, I've been here before. And I couldn't shake it. I said, this is deja vu times 1,000. So, and then the medicine man, Antonio, would work the songs. About 45 minutes in, when you felt that shaka pa move and his singing of an Icaro, the medicine kicked in even more. So at an early age, I could see the key lock, the Icaros unlocking with the medicine inside of my body, symbiotically connecting and working the medicine. I could see how important it can be to have a shaman sing versus taking it maybe just in silence by yourself. Some people do that and you get pretty powerful effects as well, but this is the tradition that I was into, and this is how they did it. So, and within a few hours, really feeling a sense of well-being, a connection with nature. The shamans, especially in this time and age where we have so much technology, TV, phone, and internet, they felt like people were getting disconnected with their true innate nature and getting disconnected from nature in general. The ego was getting stronger, their thought patterns getting more rigid, more strong. Losing connection with nature, also losing connection with higher power and spirit. And the medicine was here in their ceremonies to bring us back to that. People come into ayahuasca with certain ailments. So different parts of their body that aren't in flow. Biologically, psychologically, spiritually. Some more than others, of course. Some a little bit more of a crisis than others to heal. But that's what the shamans would do. They're looked at as like jungle doctors in a sense that operate. They use the medicine as they're a conduit. They're very humble. A good shaman, ayahuasquero, curandero is a humble person. They don't want to try to be a guru to you, but they're a simple person, man or woman, who simply follows the lifestyle and is very in tune with the medicine and dedicates their life to drink the medicine and be a conduit of these energies, the intelligence, and then it works through them to help heal. And in essence, that's what the ceremony is. And they can go 4 to 5 hours at a time. The first ceremony is about 4 hours. Didn't have any purging until my second ceremony. Purging, the medicine can be called a purgativo. So the purging is not like what we think of, like throwing up or vomiting. In a sense, well, technically yes, but there's a deeper layer level of understanding when we say the purge. So the medicine can work with the second brain, the gut, quite a bit, the connection, the gut and the brain, and stirs up a lot of emotional energy, trauma, panima they call it. Panima is the stuck energy that we have, that we gather. It's like a dark cloud, it's a vibrational hindrance, it's a blockage, panima. So the purge can be a way of releasing some of that panima that we carry and purging into a bucket. Sometimes it's just dry heat, so the liquid doesn't come out, but there's a phenomenal therapeutic release that comes when you release. Sometimes you do get the medicine out and you get the dark elements of the liquid and you're relieving it. And it's a metaphysical, spiritual part of the ceremony. Not everybody purges into the bucket. Some people use the bathroom. Some people cry, which is a strong purge into the medicine. Some people get cold, like a shiver. It's like a releasing of the energy. The snake shedding its skin in a sense, shivering. So lots of different elements of the purge. Ceremony is typically conducted as a group ceremony collectively, but also an inner process. So there isn't a lot of dialogue, people talking throughout the ceremony. It's a quiet inner ceremony. You can hear some people cry, some people laugh, some people will blurt out a few words, and that's okay too. We don't want to restrain you completely, but there's balance with it. And it's an inner process. So that is the essence of the ceremony. And you come out of it later at night and go back, shower, and then in the morning feeling pretty good. Now everybody's different. I drank a lot of ayahuasca down there my first time in Peru. So that was my first ceremony. Second ceremony was when I went a little bit deeper and the visuals started to come, and then the purging happened. So within an hour, started to purge. You could hear other people in the room purge. I saw visions of Mother Ayahuasca. This right here is a mesa, a tapestry sewn by some of the people in the jungle. A lot of these designs are representative of the DMT, the Icaros, the medicine, the colors, the geometrical patterns. You can see animals and visions and flowers, but this is close to what you can see, believe it or not, on this tapestry. So I've had this tapestry for many years and bring it with me in ceremony. But I could see the geometrical patterns and Mother Ayahuasca, face, Mother Ayahuasca, beautiful eyes, a smile, hues of blue and green, pink. And it was a life-changing moment. The first ceremony led into the second. That's why people, it's not necessarily a one and done with ayahuasca. People will sit multiple rounds. I sat over 10 times my first time down there. People in the city will drink a couple nights in a row, Friday or Saturday, come back in a few months if they're called. So you can continue to work with it and get deeper with it as well. But the second ceremony, I could see how the first ceremony led into the second ceremony quite strong. And I got a message. Everybody's different. Everybody has different testimonials of how ayahuasca works. You can meet other people in the community or go online and see. But my particular one, the first one was, remember, a feeling of strong familiarity. I've done this before. Ayahuasca, vine of soul, vine of death. It teaches you what it's like to be born and teaches you what it's like to die. The cycles, not as something to fear, but a natural process of the soul. So that was the theme of the first one. The second one was reconnecting with my sister, and a voice saying, "I'm okay. Things are good. We're going to get past this. We're here to heal. Everything's meant to be." It just felt everything had a time and its place in my life to get me stronger, and very personal experience. And then just Mother Ayahuasca saying everything's going to be okay. Simple words. Yeah, go.
Is there like cross-cultural from different native tribes from like Peru or Colombia, Mexico? Is there like connections or similarities in the experience,
Yeah.
the medicines, just everything?
Yeah, and that's the profoundness of it. You got people thousands of miles away in different parts of the jungle, and they're channeling sort of similar vibrational songs. Mm-hmm. The essence of the energy. It's unique. But yes, there's a theme for sure. This is the plant matter, the spirit of ayahuasca. There's many different entheogenic plants that may have different themes and different rhythms, like peyote and San Pedro. The cacti, a little bit more masculine, longer ceremony, daytime. You want to move energy sitting up. Ayahuasca, feminine energy, a little bit more laying down, personal. So they all have different themes. The theme, though, the common denominator with most of them is a great intelligence that goes into the nature. The energy, the ethers, if you will, spirit. You hear a lot of Icaros, Espirito, spirit, they'll sing. The spirit, the energy not in form, that comes in, manifests into the plants, in different mushrooms, but the energy usually is of the greater good if used right. It's a medicine, medicina. You hear a lot of singing in Icaros, medicina. It's as a medicine to heal. So, but they all have different themes a little bit, different songs, different rhythms. But wherever you're drinking ayahuasca, different parts of South America, the United States, people get can be similar visions. But that's ayahuasca. That's the chemical composition of the alkaloids in the spirit. So, but I kept moving along. It was pretty profound for me. They asked how I was feeling the next day, and I said, I haven't felt this good since Little League. I was just like, wow, that I made the right decision. And when I went down to Peru, my whole family thought I was crazy because I was dropping a strong education in fire science and working in the field of fire and EMT. To drop that and go down to Peru, people were concerned about me. I didn't second guess myself, but you always wonder, did I make the right decision? But after that second ceremony, I had not felt that great in many years. I could feel a sense of peace, that there was substance to it. I'm used to feeling really good. A lot of people do with substances that alter your consciousness. There's nothing wrong with trying to alter your consciousness. We just feel we get to a stage where it might be beneficial to alter your consciousness with the right medicines. Certain medicines I would use in the past, alcohol or certain cannabis and other stimulants, you could feel real good. Or there was a price sometimes to pay. You felt hungover, a little down. It didn't have any substance. I couldn't sustain that. A lot of people will feel that. Luckily, I caught it at a young age. But with ayahuasca, there was no catch. I felt good for days and days and weeks, because that's a true medicine. It's repairing the mind, body, spirit. We can talk about the spiritual element of ayahuasca, what it can do, the metaphysical side. We all have different maybe takes on it, about how it helps our spirit, brings us back into our soul, connects us with nature. But there's the science involved as well.
Yeah.
So
I have a question. When you were talking about the different ceremonies you did you do them all one after another, or are these different times that you came and did it?
the first round was a few months, 10 ceremonies in Peru,
Within
2000.
a few months?
Yeah, and some people come down for 3 ceremonies, some people come down for 5, 7, I stayed a little longer. It's different. And then I came back up to the States and then did a formal training with my teachers where I was drinking at least 2 or 3 times a month for a few years. Working the self, it was this guidance. I felt like I needed to keep working with it. Now it's a sign of a shaman or a healer. Not everybody that drinks ayahuasca is called to that. They may drink once or twice a year, take a year off, come back.
Okay.
That's good for them. I was in a little bit of a different, unique calling, I would say, where I was pushed to keep going more. And I asked them about that, and they said in the tradition, yeah, it's a life path. There's something more than meets the eye that you're meant to keep working with the ayahuasca. To serve ayahuasca, you have to drink it a lot. Thankfully, you can drink a lot of ayahuasca if you know what you're doing and treating your body right. It's not going to be too taxing or fry up the neurochemistry. Like if you took MDMA every month, as much as that medicine has some beneficial proponents to it, you couldn't sustain that. Other than certain other entheogenic medicines, you'd have to integrate longer, take breaks. Ayahuasca, for certain individuals, you can take many repetitions of it and train with it. But that was the first round, drinking at home, went back, started the work with, actually, not to jump around, but worked in Wilcox, Arizona with peyote, some of the Apache Indians, and learned that medicine and drumming and fasting and spiritual health. And then moved me down to Costa Rica, where I worked with Iboga and Ibogaine at Rhythmia Life Advancement Center, which was a center that worked with Iboga, now an ayahuasca center. But initially in their first stages, worked with the gentleman Muganda, who was a Bwiti shaman, and trained with that. Did a lot of combo trainings in Seattle, Washington, Bellingham, into the jungle, back down to Iquitos. So lots of different traveling. Right now I work, there's a picture of Jose Rios that's on the wall. And my first 2 teachers, rest in peace, Diego had passed away, cancer, which was a really mysterious illness for him to get. He lived such a healthy life, and sometimes the world of being a medicine carrier, it can have some repercussions energetically. So he had passed away, and then I had a teacher who was Shapibo, Delmira, and Segundo. They're a couple out of the Iquitos region, and she passed away of a mysterious illness in her mid-60s, and I was on the path of finding a new teacher, and I had found Jose through a connection. He's the nephew of Pablo Amaringo. Pablo Amaringo is a famous teacher and artist who paints a lot of ayahuasca paintings. He's world-renowned, and his lineage goes back far. his grandparents, and they're working with ayahuasca. And Jose's the nephew, so I was put in touch with him, and I've been knowing Jose for about 6 years now. And we take groups down to Peru quite a bit, and I go down there for training for the last 5 years or so. So there's been a long line of trainings moving around. So. But yeah, any questions about ayahuasca? We use ayahuasca here. Who hasn't drank an ayahuasca before? Who's never drank ayahuasca? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. We have Robin and Christine, members of the community. They actually help out quite a bit. They'll be joining the team. Luna Wolf Sanctuary, we drink ayahuasca here. In Wisconsin, we have a few places. And we have a team of facilitators that help myself. I'm the head medicine carrier, but we have people who have sat for a year or so, a little bit more. They're called to serve and help out with the team. And when we run a ceremony, it's usually roughly 10 to 20 people a weekend. And we need help. We need people who are trained in the medicine, who understand the medicine, to help hold space. So it takes a collective team. You guys can introduce yourself shortly, talk a little bit as we move along. But yeah, a good group, 4 people know ayahuasca, and maybe you're called to ayahuasca after this lecture. Maybe you're called to the combo, which we can talk about later, or the bufo. There's different paths and rhythms. So I can talk a little bit about how Luna Wolf works as a community, a nonprofit, a church. We hold space for people who have curiosity. People become a member online. We do a Zoom call just to build rapport. There's a lot of people that come into Luna Wolf. Some people are ready, that we feel that you're ready to come into the community and do some of the work. Some people aren't there yet. We have a lot of affiliates and allies in the city that they might want to start with first, take it slow before they jump in. So we do this very responsibly. It's not just opening the doors up and then letting everybody come in. It's building rapport, coming to these lectures, taking the calls, seeing if it's a fit for you for the ayahuasca, or maybe some other medicines, or just easing into it with just general weaning off of SSRIs a little bit, eating better, getting your body stronger, like I did for a year before I came in. So we welcome everybody's individual path. And it's always exciting to hear your path if you decide to come aboard and see where it takes you and where your path leads for the years to come. So we got a lot to talk about, a lot to cover. Anything else for you guys? Any questions? So, anybody here that's intrigued with ayahuasca, has been thinking about it on the radar, or were they brought here from other medicines? Maybe get to know a little bit about yourself if you feel. No worries, you don't have to say anything if you just want to lay back. But how about yourself? What was your name?
Richard.
You're drawn here through obviously some curiosity with the medicine.
Yeah, I've been seeing a therapist who directed me this way.
Mm-hmm.
She practices psychedelic therapy, but limited to THC pretty much.
Right.
And I think I'm ready for something deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, something that's more powerful or
Right.
a different experience.
Great. Yeah, thanks for coming. And that's often the case. A lot of people, the therapists will refer them our way, which is really nice to see some of the support in the city. So yeah, it could be hopefully get a lot out of this lecture and feel good about it. Maybe ayahuasca will call you. We'll talk a little bit more about how we operate here. Talk a lot about Peru, my past, but about how it works in the States we can get to pretty soon. What was your name?
So my name is Madhusudan.
Yep.
And I'm from India, and I recently moved here like 2 months back in the States. So this is my second time I came here. 10 years before I was in DC for 2 months.
Yeah.
But now I'm for 8-9 months I'm going to be here. And I work in the field of climate change and emergency response. So I won't say I have seen a lot of disasters, but I have worked in a lot of emergencies like Nepal earthquake. I have worked there just after the earthquake. In a lot of fire incident, in a lot of flood incidents, cyclones. So like professionally, I work in those kind of scenarios.
Very nice.
So I have seen through like lot of misery, lot of pain, and so it's not that I get affected from that, but I always try to like get into bottom. Why all is this happening? What is the reason behind of all these things are happening at the same time? Like in some part of the world, everything is so happy and everybody is dancing, enjoying things, and at the same time, some people are suffering like you even can't imagine. So at the same time, why all these things are happening and what is the purpose and what is the reason? So like I never had like alcohol or anything before in my life, but somehow I got to know about the psilocybins and all the psychedelics, and then I read about it, and I also read like in Hinduism and Buddhism, they directly don't call it psychedelics or something like that, they call it rasa. So I also found like in like ancient time, lot of communities used to have different therapies which enlightened their path, and they got answers for different questions. So all these things led me like to know more about the the psychedelics and how they work,
Right.
and what kind of questions you have and how you can get answer which I generally can't find in scientific world.
Right.
Yeah. So those kind of things led me here.
Very nice to have you. Yeah, that's a common theme too for people diving into some of the unexplained, the unknown, and the known, the science to the unknown. The known has a lot of substance and
Yes.
it's good, but there's an element, we'll never be completely satisfied until we go into a little bit of the unknown as well. That's beyond the analytical mind, beyond the ego a bit.
Yes.
It's uncharted territories. And that's what we're trying to get into. That's a vast space that the medicines and the traditions of ayahuasca invite people to. Gracefully though, little by little. Ayahuasca can work very gently too. It gives you what you need, which is nice. When I serve medicine, I just don't blindly serve you a cup and roll the dice and see, hey, I wonder how this is going to go. We're seeing where you're at, where your past is, starting you at different increments of the medicine, second serving, third serving, to come up and then, it break you open a little bit. Breaking open is a term to use in a good way to find that peace. So yeah, that's good for sharing that. You're crossing over to a degree, and they say science without spirituality is blind. Spirituality without science is also blind to a degree. That statement, and so they work together. So it's good to have the totality of the two. So yeah, hopefully you maybe are called. So yeah. And we'll get more into that too. We'll go to about 8 o'clock, 7:30 or 8. So if you have to take off a little early too, that's okay. You can make your way out. But how about yourself? Thanks for coming. What's your name?
Yeah, Fran is my name. I came just because I'm going to be working with a shamanic healer in Santa Fe like in about 3 weeks, so I don't know that much about shamanism. I've done a lot of different spiritual things, but I just thought this could be interesting for me to learn about it. Feel kind of mixed about taking in anything. Always think that you could maybe go to places without without ingesting things. That's kind of, I've done some things where you can go to really deep places without it, and so as a teenager I did a lot of different drugs and as an adult, I don't know, but yeah, I'm just here kind of just to see what this is all about.
Yeah, curiosity, that's good. Dipping your toes in a little bit.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, thanks for coming. Robin and Christine, yeah.
So yeah, my name is Robin. So I've been kind of a lifelong, seeker, I guess I would say, practicing, meditation and various other types of spiritual disciplines, yoga and this type of thing. But also, somewhat plagued with, mild depression and things like this. But I've always was intrigued by the idea of ayahuasca, and then I think last December, I met these guys and did my first ceremony, and done several ceremonies this past year, and just really like the way that my mood has been elevated and stabilized has been really fantastic for me. Just my everyday life is much more. Just more willing to sort of just meet life head on without that little bit of depression that was kind of plaguing me for a long time. And then also just the discovery of ayahuasca and especially the way that the music and the creativity comes through the medicine work has been something I'm really interested in, really exploring. Because I've always loved music and, played guitar and flute and stuff like that, but just finding through the medicine how the music and the songs come through that process has been just a real source of inspiration and something that I'm really interested in exploring a lot. And these guys are so keyed into the musical aspects of it too. I mean, the sound ceremonies that happen here and stuff, it's all very it has its roots in the ancient traditions, but also they bring in modern instruments and singing and sensibilities to it that, I just find really inspiring. So it's been a real source of increased creativity and happiness, just generally. So I reached a point in my life where I'm looking for things that make me happy. So and this is one. So I really enjoy it. Thanks.
Yeah.
And I'm Christine, and so my first time with Luna Wolf was back in December last year also. And I had been actually interested in ayahuasca for, I think it was like 14, 15 years before that, and it just couldn't quite figure out how to make it work. It just wasn't appearing, the path there wasn't appearing yet. But I'd say, what was it? It was maybe 8 or 9 years ago, I had started working with mushrooms a little bit combined with my meditation practice. And had really found that beneficial. But there was a certain point where I was I think the next thing I'm going to do is ayahuasca. I think I'm going to figure out how to make that happen. And prior to coming here, I'd had some kind of difficult things with someone at work, a supervisor at work, that was kind of opened up all of this trauma that I thought I had kind of dealt with just kind of rose to the surface again. And I was spending a lot of time in therapy, and it doesn't feel like it was getting me where I needed to go. And I was I think that it's time for me to try this out and see what this can do. And right away, it was clear that that was going to be ayahuasca was going to be the thing that was going to help me really dive into that stuff more. And it has just, everything feels different about my life now, the way that I interact with everything, the way that I relate to my trauma. Just generally the way that I relate to change in my life. Even right now, I was laid off from my job and I'm doing really well with it, even though it's a difficult transition. So that's been good, and then it just opened up also for me a lot of creativity, like he was saying, art and music,
And I'm interested in ayahuasca. I'm actually interested in consciousness studies. I just finished, I just graduated with my master's, and I'm now looking at what do I want to do with my life. And so I'm sort of at my own point in my life where I'm trying to make a transition. So I'm interested in it for that, for spiritual reasons, and also just to kind of see where do I want to go with my life for my own personal reasons, but also for research. I was also interested in ayahuasca because I had heard that it has some sort of it has some sort of properties that are related to your sense of time, and so I would be interested in studying it for that reason too. But I don't think if I took it, I would want to study it at the same time. I think that'd be too hard. So for my own reasons would be for more of a spiritual exploration.
Yeah, great. That's awesome.
Okay, I'm Eric. Where to start? I'm a musician and an artist. I write songs, and beyond that, I'm just like a person who's always been curious and spiritually curious. I grew up in a really just indoctrinated with a religion that I don't believe in. But I didn't figure that out until I was 19, and then one day I just realized everything that I'd been taught growing up was false, that I didn't believe that, which plunged me into like a shock that I didn't even know I was in shock, and spent a lot of years, now I see I was dissociated, I didn't know that. And I took mushrooms, this is my 20s, I took mushrooms during that time, and I had some positive experiences and also some really bad experiences because I was taking mushrooms to party and see cool visions and have music sound cool, and didn't really appreciate its therapeutic or spiritual qualities. And then these past several years, I felt like I needed to begin consuming mushrooms in my life, and in 2020 I gained access to as many mushrooms as I want, and I took so many mushrooms for like a year, and really did a lot of profound healing, and made a lot of progress toward overcoming major depression, and PTSD, and this is in addition to going to therapy for years as well. And so I've been doing that the past 5 years. I'd kind of taken a break from the mushrooms, and I felt like I'd taken enough mushrooms, and was just like living my life. And then this summer I got some more mushrooms and drank mushroom tea throughout the summer. And this past couple of years I've just been curious about ayahuasca and kind of moving in that direction. I've come to a couple of the sound ceremonies now, and those have been really positive experiences. I've definitely had my guard up coming here and about getting involved with the community because of my past experiences. But yeah, I see the ayahuasca as a really valuable tool that could help me unlock just still some of these conditioned responses and tendencies from the religious indoctrination of my youth, and just the really the ideas and the concepts that I was instilled with that I don't see serving me well, and I just seem to have a really hard time removing the blockages. So that's kind of what I'm doing here.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, a lot to comment on all that. With regards to mushrooms, can be a good stepping stone to ayahuasca for sure. That happened to me. Remember I was saying I did the mushrooms and was curious. So yeah, usually ayahuasca calls you strong. I used to think I chose ayahuasca. Terence McKenna's brother, Dennis McKenna, had a famous saying, "You think you're seeking ayahuasca, but it's actually seeking you." And as I got older, I started to realize that's true, especially with meeting so many people, why they're drawn into this just by chance. They see something and they're led. There's an energy, attraction energy, law of attraction a bit, pulls people in. So yeah, you can have your guard up for sure. People do have their guard up which I think is healthy. You don't want to be completely open to everything and everybody. You gotta have those boundaries a bit. But that's the community we run. Sound ceremonies, these lectures. There's no attendance policy, and people have their own therapists too, outside of Luna Wolf, and we don't try to like indoctrinate anybody or keep me too close to the hip. There's an element of freedom, just as long as you're behaving and doing your work and you're doing it with intention. We have open doors to come in. So yeah, hopefully it gets you to that. We'll see if it gets little by little. Maybe you take the jump. So
Yeah.
It's just kind of
yeah, sorry.
it's just kind of a portal to like opening up to yourself, and then the guides are just there to kind of help you with what you discover. Isn't that right, kind of, or no?
Yeah, absolutely. We basically are setting the table, making sure it's set appropriately and safely, that we know our understanding of it, our vessels are clean, and we can hold space. Some people need that in the in the early stages. Then some people break away and they do get into solitude work, solitary work, and that's good too. But there's a lot of people who need the guidance a little bit. So that's what they call the maestro.
Yeah.
Well, because you might come up on things that are too hard to handle for yourself, right?
Exactly. There's many people who wouldn't be able to do ayahuasca the first time by themselves or in a not a safe environment, or someone who really know what they're doing. It's good to start in these realms of a little bit of structure, spirit structure. So that's what we do, and we open the doors for that. And little by little, just building blocks of the community. The community's here when you need it. It's not something they have too much of a bad taste of. It's a community, and some people love the community. Like I said, are here all the time. Every month or two, their ayahuasca become family. And some people, they get what they need and they disappear for a while and they come back. There's no better or worse. It's whatever's right for you. We just hope that when you leave these doors, we have modalities and structure in place to help you if you need it. For instance, we do like integration in this room, which is kind of similar to, I don't really get into the talk, my personal stuff, but we integrate like this a little bit in the room. But yeah, we're here for you. Other people they're just beating to the beat of their own drum a little bit and doing their thing. So it's interesting to see where people are at, which is good. Creativity, the medicine can definitely open you up for creativity for sure as a musician. That's why some of the most beautiful music is being orchestrated through the medicine. It's a life force. Some of the rhythms and the beats and the frequency of the music. If you get into medicine music, more and more holistic medicine music, and it's powerful. The medicine can really help with that. It's not far-fetched. It cleans your body out. You're fresh for creativity. So yeah, the more I drink, the better I stay clean to myself. Seems like I'm channeling better songs, more songs. I'm not getting too stagnant. So I noticed that as I got throughout the years with guitar and singing. So painting, whatever, ukulele, everything, art, poetry, whatever. It can feed your rhythms of artistic expression for sure. Time is an interesting one that you brought up. So I noticed that when I did ayahuasca, I felt prior to ayahuasca, I could not win the battle of Father Time. I was always late, never had enough time. There was never enough time in the day, spinning your wheels. They say thought is time. Thought can be a reaction of memory. It's a natural process. But to be stuck in it all the time, thinking, scheduling, analyzing, you only need so much of that that's why people start to come see ourselves here, because they're like, I'm getting burdened by my own mind. So all the mystics have said, how do we not denounce time, use it for what it's worth, it's a tool, linear time, but can you leave time? And that's the true essence of meditation.
Yeah.
That we try to work with without the medicine, without the medicine. You know, you don't need the medicine unless you're doing it, sustaining itself through your meditation practice. So then I would work with ayahuasca, and I said, man, and when I was drinking ayahuasca and I was being disciplined and living a good life, I would say, I feel like I have all the time in the world. Some time is slowed down. I am the master of my ship of time. And that was probably the coolest part of ayahuasca for me on a personal level. I'm glad you said that. Like metaphysically trying to figure that out over the years. Like, man, but again, it's space. Time can be constrictive. It's mechanical in a sense. It's spirit, they say, doesn't operate in time. So to get into space, that's why we say we hold space for you. I'm holding space for people because I'm bringing in a lot of space. I'm not so much in the time element. And this is the core of many fundamental old ancient teachings and mystics and religion, non-religion, philosophy. There's substance to this. And that's what we try to do. That's what we bring in the ceremony. If you ever sit with ayahuasca, you will be opened up to the cosmos, something outside of time, something outside of your thoughts. That can be a very liberating experience for a lot of people. Interestingly enough, that can be terrifying for other people because all they've known was their thoughts. Deep down, they feel they're ready to leave the story down, put it down a little bit. That's the art of listening. So your listening becomes stronger. You're not doing the talking all the time in your head. You're actually stopping thinking and listening more. That's the essence of what these ceremonies we like to do. What's behind the scenes? What are we doing as shamans, curanderos? Is there an ulterior motive? What are we doing? You know, that's essentially it. One of the foundations is to give you space. You know, to when you leave ceremony, you hear the birds in the trees. You hear sounds more. You're more aware. You're more present with things versus being in your head all the time. That's the magic. That's what we try to do in these ceremonies and work with people. So it's not a system. It's not an ideology. You know, it's true nature is what we're getting ourselves into. Organic, divine nature. That's your entitled right to tap into, to bring happiness in. Throughout the years, the societies with the hierarchies and certain governments. I'm not saying that's all bad, but you know they've taken that power away a little bit. You know, you have to. That's what the ayahuasca teaches you, to tap into your heart and reclaim your friendship, you know, with the great cosmos, the spirit. It's healing. It's blessing. When ayahuasca, blessing, 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 protection, blessing, blessing, blessing. We'll sing blessings through the Shakapa, Ikaro. Cleansing, cleansing, blessing, blessing. It's a blessing. It's a cleansing. And that's, I think, the fun part about this whole thing, is we're slowly coming back to that. For whatever reason, we've been disconnected. We've lost connection with the higher power, a lot of us in society. And if we find it, we're fighting with the other person who thinks they have it, and it's because they're different, and then they have to fight. No, my way's better. You don't know what you're talking about. The ego gets in, right? So it's just a mess. You know, even when we try to find it, and we find it, then the ego is so powerful. You know, that's why we have a lot of wars sometimes throughout 5,000 years. The ayahuasca, what we do in this work is to just give you that really peaceful connection that is already in you. I'm not here as a medicine man to give it to you. It's already in you. We're just trying to use the medicine and the ceremony to unlock it, because it's in your DNA. It's in your nature. You are nature. You are part of it. We got to remove the blockages. We got to remove the panima. Remember the panima? Some mystics, some people's truth seekers say we've got to get to the holy lands. We've got to get to the heavens. Others say no. You don't need to get there. You need to remove what's already in you, and then you're already there. It's effortless. The effort is removing what you don't need. That's one way of blocking. That's the purging. Crying, releasing, getting rid of it, shaking the energy out, feeling cleaner. We get oil changes on our car every 3,000 miles, right? We go fix our hard drives in our computer, we clean those out. Our bodies deserve that too. We need to recycle the energies. Water fasting is important, shamanism as well. Fasting, cleansing, the ayahuasca combo. Sure, you can get it without it too. Some of my favorite teachers, Jiddu Krishnamurti from India, my favorite teacher, Eckhart Tolle, they didn't use psychedelics. They were there, you know? So my biggest teachers in my life, besides the curanderos, were people like that. But if you can get there without it, wonderful. But sometimes God gives you things on this planet that can help. Like food. You could say, oh, I don't need food. I don't need to take the blessings of food and the fruit. I'm going to do this on my own. And what I heard, there's actually people like that called breatharians. But they're still using the breath. They're using something, right? So you don't have to give away your power too much by taking medicine. You can look at it as a logical way of there's tools on the planet that feed the brain, feed the spirit. It's not a spiritual bypass or a shortcut. You know, it's there to help you. It's there to, because you pick up a lot, and some people can shed it off naturally. Some people can just. They say ducks do that. When ducks, they get angry, they shake it off, and then they're just very peaceful. The ducks fight, and then it's like 4 or 5 seconds, and then they're just all peaceful again. But humans, they'll carry that for 20 years. You know, so whatever it is in our DNA makeup that we just hold on to things. So sometimes we do need a little assistance. I needed it. So that's a good intelligent way to look at it sometimes with medicine that we can educate. So, but yeah, this is great stuff that we're talking about. Anybody else with anything to feed the conversation or questions? And I can move on to.
I think just have a question about Bufo. What's your experience with it? And how do you compare it?
Yeah, that's a great question. As one of our sacraments with the Bufo, as you know, DMT, the NN-DMT is in the ayahuasca. A different form of DMT is in the Bufo alvarius frog. And then the 5-MeO molecule as well, which is plant-derived but made in a lab. We use a combination of the two or one of the other forms of DMT, but you don't need to process it with the vine, the myoinhibitor, right? You're inhaling it. It goes right into the body. So
and it lasts about 20 minutes or so?
20 minutes, and you do a couple rounds. You do 20 minutes. We do a ceremony, sing, drum, maybe some silence as well. You know, ceremonies aren't all about hitting the drum for 4 hours or 20. You know, sometimes meditation is good too. That's how we feel it out. But anyways, 20 minutes.
I heard that it's similar to ketamine. Would you compare it or no? Or
I mean, there can be connections with certain individuals that feel there's a similarity, but in the end, it's a completely different experience. I would say majority of people would concur with. Not to say that there's small little attributes of each that are similar.
Yeah.
But they're definitely different.
Yeah, okay.
20 minutes, you take a break for a little bit,
Then you do
integrate, and then you do it again. Yeah, we do them in this room. We do it under the dome in there. It's a little bit less of an investment than the ayahuasca because you come in for the night. You get to go home that night.
Mm-hmm.
You're together for 3-4 hours. You go home. Ayahuasca, you're spending the night. Some people do 2 nights the weekend as well. If you've never done ayahuasca, we do have a mandatory policy that you should sit with 2 days because you're going to get more out of the second night after you cleanse the first night.
Mm-hmm.
So, but back to the Bufo. It's can be a stepping stone for people where they say, ayahuasca sounds lovely, but I'm drawn into this a little bit more practical 1 day or 1 night, evening, go home. And that can be a big stepping stone as well. Some people just stick with the Bufo. They don't, Bufo is my medicine.
Mm-hmm.
My ayahuasca is just not for me.
So you've done Bufo,
Yeah, quite a bit. I've been serving it since 2016.
Okay.
So through New England and here, I have a lot of experience. Probably worked with a good 600 people or so over the years with Bufo. Solo one-on-ones and then groups of 10 people, so it adds up over the years. But yeah, good process. You see a lot of people break through and get a lot of clarity and peace with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we continue to do it. and safe, in the right doses, and that's why we offer it as a sacrament, because some people are called to that. Other people stack their medicines where they do ayahuasca for a little bit, and then they take some time to themselves, and then they gravitate to the bufo, like I did. And then you work with bufo a little bit. They're all here to help. They're all here, and then you can kind of use them together. Because once you do ayahuasca, it's with you forever. When you do the bufo, you might bring back a little of the ayahuasca energy. Vice versa with the bufo. You do bufo for a little bit, and then go to the ayahuasca. You drink the ayahuasca. You're in the ayahuasca ceremony, but you have a little bit of that bufo spirit with you. So that's the medicine wheel. You're always grabbing essence of the spirit, the strength, even receptors, muscle memory, receptor memory. You can bring it back, because the music, the setting, it's a holistic setting. There's some commonalities between the two, between ayahuasca's ceremony and the bufo ceremony. The fasting, right? The prayers, we build breath work before, the songs, some similarity. Different, but similar. So, yeah, we go at your own pace, see what you guys feel, what you're called to. We help with that. Some people know what they want. They're like, I've done enough research, I've talked to enough people, I'm called to this. That's great. We go from there. So.
Do you have the ayahuasca ceremony once a month?
Once a month, yeah. It's a Friday and Saturday. If you become a member, I would recommend doing the membership. It's a free membership. You do pay for the welcome call, so we spend about half hour or so talking on Zoom. Chris Gunlock takes those, and it's like $60. But after that, it's a free membership. But you'll gain access to when the sites, the events are. You can't see them if you're not a member. You can see the member events, public events like this and sound baths, which are good for a lot of people. But to get to that next step, you'd want to sign up for the Luna Wolf and book your call. Have you done a welcome? Have you done a welcome call yet, or are you not full?
No, but
Okay.
I have an intention to.
Yeah, I have no idea. Some people have been for a while. Some people are members for a year before they sit in the actual ceremony. So I had no idea, but yeah, I would recommend. Did you do a welcome call?
Yeah, I'm a member just 2 days ago.
Okay, cool. So Chris talked to you. Great.
Yeah, I forgot his name. It wasn't Alex, it was...
Chris. Yeah, it's just Chris and myself now. But yeah, that's good that you met Chris. Yeah, I'd recommend if you feel you want to dive a little bit deeper into the community, the welcome call can be good because you can see the events that are coming, and you can come to a potluck too. We do the dinners and the lunches. You can talk to other people and get their experiences. You get a good vibe. You can walk into a room and know if this is your kind of thing with people, and just feeling things out can be nice. Going to a potluck or a sound bath. Other people though, they'll hear one talk just like this, and I'll see them 2 weeks in ayahuasca. Hey John, geez, that was fast. I just felt it. I liked the talk. It felt good. I did the welcome call, saw the site, and feeling good. People are some are drawn in faster than others, so it's always fun to see where you're at.
I think of it kind of like a spiritual path, but have you seen physical healing?
Quite a bit. I mean, cancer's been cured with ayahuasca. Certain individuals, not always, but yes. Parasites, blood pressure issues with people for sure, lessening the stress. Blood pressure goes down. There's a lot of different physical ailments that ayahuasca can cure. You could look that up too. There's some great stories and testimonies of that. Yeah. So it's all connected, mind, body, spirit, right?
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah. Yeah. I got more to go. I could go all night. Let's see what we got for time.
I have to go.
7:25. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to go too, I think. What are you going to do next?
What am I gonna do next for tonight? Like to talk or what?
Yeah.
Hey, you guys may feel like we need to wrap it up. I can talk about the combo a little bit, just how we work as a church.
Oh,
I mean,
I see.
this is stuff though. You guys if you got to go now, you got a lot out of this. Especially just checking the site, checking the events, if it feels right, little by little. Look into the 3 different types of medicines and go from there.
It's just kind of an intro for me to the
Yeah.
things.
The YouTube's cool too. We got some YouTube videos that can be nice. We're releasing some music. We're trying to build that little by little. It's not a full-time job, the YouTube stuff, but the Instagram page, you can get some, I would say, some good positive reassurance by looking at some of the past events and say, okay, just keep building confidence before you come and sit. Once you sign up for a ceremony, you'll get a preparation guide though. It's on our site. You can see it. I believe you can even see it as the public side of things. It's a preparatory guides, guidebooks, and how to prepare for a ceremony, how long to fast, what to eat, what not to eat, stuff like that. So we take this very seriously. I definitely want people to feel that when they come in, you guys are confident, are feeling good. You know, we got to prove ourselves too, and that's we will. But that first date type of thing, you know, to feel that it's not going to be horrendous. You're in a safe spot. The trainings from my teachers, you can read my.
So, I mean, it could be real positive, or it could be hard too, right?
Both. Sometimes, ironically, the hard is the positive. It's people go through these shadow work. Oh, I didn't want to look at that. That happens with me when I would drink. You know, I'd be like, ooh, I didn't want to really look at that. Wow, I have to look at this. You just have to learn the structures of the ego, putting things back into the subconscious. Oop, the ayahuasca's bringing it out a little bit. Sometimes it will just bring it out a little bit because it wants to keep you okay. She's compassionate. You know, sometimes it brings it out a little bit stronger. Ooh, it plays with you. It's your friend. You know, it's trying to help you as a therapist in a sense. So sometimes those hard nights of ayahuasca where you're crying and maybe we need to do a little one-on-one work and it's, oh, this is too much, make it stop. Those are the people who are like dancing the next run. I feel great because we're moving, we're extracting a lot out. So sometimes you have a 4-hour ayahuasca journey. Maybe 1 hour was a little difficult and 3 hours were awesome, beautiful. Sometimes it's all the whole 4 hours was just bliss, you know, connection, feeling good with God. And you don't know what you're gonna get. Everybody's different. There's no script to this. So we bring in, come as you are. This is the saying with ayahuasca, come as you are, let the medicine handle who you are, where you come from. So.
And if, when people are participating in the ceremony, like let's say if I'm like wanting space, that's a thing that'll be honored and respected.
Yeah.
If I'm needing my space, it's not going to be like someone's going to be all,
No.
trying to guide my experience.
No, because as a group, we go around little by little, you know, sing some, get in your personal space, sing a little equal, move on, but you're not, you got your total space. Then you can go into the art room and get a little space too, and just sit in there for a bit and get some air and quiet time too. We have different rooms that we do, but yeah, the whole logistics of the ceremonies we do here, Wisconsin, we got a cabin, a teepee. You'll see the different dynamics of where we do it. Downstairs is a good spot. We do ayahuasca. Look into the combo. Some people start with the combo. It's non-psychedelic. It's peptide therapy. Very powerful medicine that can get the blood moving, purge out some bile, clear the panema. Combo. Some people like to do that a little bit before ayahuasca. It's all up to you guys, but yeah.
Is all the Wisconsin stuff on the website?
Yeah, you'll see like Wisconsin, Sacred Cedars, Wisconsin, or the Cabin Immersion Retreat. Those are the Wisconsin side of things. We do those from time to time.